Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hour of Devastation full set review. We're on to what everyone's always waiting for, the black cards. And joining me in today again is Anthony. Ready for some black cards?
Yeah, let's do the black cards.
Alright, let's kick it off. We've got the Accursed Horde, or the Accursed Horde, however you want to say that one. It's 4 mana for a 3-3, and it has 1 and a black. Target attacking zombie gains indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, I quite like this card. This is really good in a zombie deck, but just fine by itself. A 3-3 that can be indestructible attacking is pretty good.
Yeah, this is looking pretty scary. As you say, just by itself, it's going to come in as a 3-3 indestructible most of the time, if it gets blocked and that sort of thing. But can give anything indestructible.
Yeah, giving any of your guys indestructible just means it's hard for your opponents to really win a combat. So, yeah, this is a really good card in a zombie deck.
And I mean, we saw in the multicolored, the black-white zombie guy also gives lifelink or death touch. So you can have indestructible lifelinkers or death-touching lifelinkers, indestructible. The zombie deck's going to be scary.
Yeah, I think so. And all of those abilities are on attacking zombies. So it's really slanted towards attacking and getting bonuses when you attack. So it just leads more and more. Every color just seems to be leading more and more to attacking and being aggressive.
Yes, blocking is bad, it seems.
Seems like it.
Alright, our next one is our Amit friend.
Yeah, this is a weird card, but an awesome one. So Amit Eternal is 2 and a black for a 5/5 zombie crocodile demon.
That's huge.
It's huge for 3 mana. And it's got upside, Afflict 3.
Come on, there has to be a downside as well.
Yeah, the downside is whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on Amit Eternal.
So he's not sticking around very long.
But when it deals combat damage to a player, remove all -1/-1 counters.
Hooray!
So this card's just... Okay, so this card starts out great, goes to excellent, comes back down to great, and then goes back up to excellent. This card's ridiculous.
It's amazing. Like, as you said, it's just starting off. 3 mana 5/5. Just out of the gates. Nothing is that big at 3 mana. Not even the green creatures.
Yep.
And then it just has this upside of Afflict 3, so when it's attacking, if it gets blocked, it's still dealing 3 damage. You can't chump block this thing with a whole bunch of dudes. It's just going to keep getting through.
I mean, you could chump block it. Okay, so what you do is you cast a spell after they play it, make it a 4/4, chump block it, then play a 3/3, makes that a 3/3, and then trade with it. so it's a 2-for-1, right?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how else to play against this other than just kill it outright. I mean, this card's just bonkers.
This is going to be really scary. It's an absolute snap first pick. If you have any kind of evasion to get this in regularly, it's just going to be untouchable in limited.
Yeah. And even with that scenario that I said, they lost 2 creatures and got dealt 6 damage, even though they blocked.
Yep. Oh boy. And to top it all off, it's also a zombie, so it gets buffed by the zombie synergies, just in case there wasn't enough.
Yeah, it does everything. This card's ridiculous. Yeah. Best card in black. I'm calling it now.
Love it. Alright. Possibly the worst rare in black is the Apocalypse Demon. So this is 4 black for a flying star. So 6 mana, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. Which is okay. I mean, it's not brilliant. This is going to be probably when you cast it, a 4/4, maybe a 5/5. It can get pretty big. Add on to that, at the beginning of your upkeep, it's a demon, so you need to have a drawback, and it needs to be tapped unless you sacrifice another creature.
No.
Demons require sacrifice. They can't just be on your side.
They should.
Well, this one should. This is really mediocre card.
Yeah, this is... I'm so torn on this card. I don't think there's a lot of great fodder. And even if there is, you don't really want to just keep chucking it away every turn just so you can attack and block.
I kind of like this in Sealed with Bontu. if I can build up a deck with Bontu, and then it's just a free way to activate him, get in for 4, or her, sorry, to get in for 4 each turn.
Sure. Yeah. Two rare and a mythic working together to just be able to attack. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Really doing it now.
Yeah. I don't know. The upside is this can get to a really high power and toughness. So it can, pack through, just like win a game in 2 or 3 swings. The problem is sometimes you're just going to have this on the battlefield and just it will be tapped every turn and you'll not be able to do anything.
Yep.
You won't be able to, because if it's tapped, then you obviously don't have a creature to sacrifice. So when you play a creature, you can't even block with that creature because you need it to untap this.
Yeah.
It's just going to be so bad.
Yeah, no, it's not good, and the Abyss is not good for you. You should not give yourself an Abyss.
It is optional, but it's still, I mean, just to be able to attack is not good enough.
Yeah, so passing on the Apocalypse Demon, you can pick that up on the wheel if you really want it.
Yeah.
This, however, is a much better uncommon. Tell me about the Bane Whip Punisher.
No, the Banewit Punisher is sick. 2 and a black for a 2/2 human warrior, and when it enters the battlefield, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, and it has an extra ability of black and sacrifice it. Destroy target creature that has a -1/-1 counter on it.
Excellent.
So, what happens here is you play it for 3, and then sack it straight away. 4 mana removal spell, and it's just so much better than that.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the baseline, is 4 mana sorcery speed, destroy target creature, which, it's sad to say, is pretty good removal in Modern Era.
No, it's really good. That was our first pick in, what was it? Battle for Zendikar?
Yep.
That was like premium.
Yeah.
It's better than that.
And this is better because it comes on a body, it can be reanimated, it can be brought back from the graveyard with your grave diggers, and it can also just kill something else. It can chump block before it gets sacrificed. I think this is, it just does all of the things that you need to do in a black deck.
Yeah, and the black deck has a lot of -1/-1 counters to throw around, and sometimes your opponents will put them on their own creatures. So what you can do is pick off a 1/1 and then kill something else. This card's very versatile, very good.
Yep. Just be careful with this and the Amit, though, because this kills the Amit very easily.
Okay, sure.
Because you cast it, and then the Amit gets a counter. You don't even have to put the counter on it. It gets it itself, so yeah, just watch out for that one.
Sure. Yep.
Still best black card so far, though.
Oh, not better than the Amit.
That's what I mean, the Amit is the best card.
Oh, yes. And this is a very high pick. Very much a first pick, this card.
Yeah, premium removal, take it high.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Oh, this one.
Last Reckoning, what's happening?
This has got a lot of people talking. 1 black for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step.
Yeah, that's a really powerful effect attached to a really big downside.
Yep. What do you think?
I don't know what to think. In Limited, I think you play this 100%, because Wrath of God, Damnation is a massively powerful effect. So if you're getting a 2 or 3 or 4 for 1, that's excellent. And you can also follow it up with a threat immediately. So if you're on turn 6, turn 7, you can drop a 3 or a 4 drop after this, and you're the first one to get something on the board. The real question is this going to make Standard? Which is a lot harder to answer, because giving up the following couple of turns in Standard is so big for a control deck. You need to be able to stabilize immediately, and this may stop you from doing that.
Yeah, it's just going to be time will tell. I think it's such a powerful ability, though, for 3 mana. I don't think we've seen that before at 3 mana. And it's just whether or not taking off that turn is so big of a cost. And it also depends on how fast the decks are, I guess. If we're not coming up against really aggressive decks, maybe the more expensive Wraths are better.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get there. I mean, smarter Magic minds than me might be able to figure this out, but I don't think Bontu's Last Reckoning is going to be good enough to make it into a top-level Standard deck. We still have Yahenni's Expertise, which does a similar thing, but doesn't tap you out for the following turn, so...
Yeah, that even has another upside. It doesn't quite kill everything, but
It
it
kills a
kind of,
lot of things.
yeah.
Yeah, Bonter's Last Reckoning, just to loop it back around, limited, sealed on your F&Ms, just slam that because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it will be good.
Alright, so the next one is a Carrion Screecher. This is a 4 mana 3/1 zombie bird with flying, and is good. Just fine. 4 mana 3/1 flyer. It'll do a job.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
zombie.
It does its thing, and that's about it. Kind of boring.
Yeah.
Next.
Doomfall is somewhat more interesting. This is Coercion strapped onto an Edict. So 3 mana, 2 black, sorcery. Choose one. Either the target opponent exiles a creature he or she controls, obviously of their choice, or target opponent reveals their hand and you take a non-land card from it to exile it, which is just good and good. This is going to be a very useful card in Limited.
Yeah, I kind of like both sides of this in limited. I don't like this card usually, but it's more of the sorry. You want more of the sacrifice a creature or exile a creature. The second part, the exile a card from the hand, is better in the afterboarded games when you know that if they're playing a more not low to the ground, but geez, what am I saying? More expensive, a lot of expensive cards, then that becomes a lot better.
Yeah, certainly. This is certainly when you know when your opponent is going to sort of go off, if you will. Like if they have really important 4s or 5 drops, then you can kind of time this to try to get them at the right time. Again, similar to the previous, I think this is going to be more of a standard card than a limited card. It's good in limited, but it's going to have a bit more standard applications if control is around. There's usually not as many creatures in play, so the exiling a creature is more significant. And Thoughtseize is just a really powerful effect for any control deck. So
Yeah, I think that's fair.
yeah, but overall, Doomblade in limited and sealed, I think you're gonna take this.
Doom 4, right? Not Doom Blade.
Doomfall, yeah, Doomblade, obviously. Doomfall.
I'm not picking it super highly. Both sides are okay, but not great. So I'll be taking other good creatures and good removal over this.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Alright, this is the first pick though, right?
Yeah, this is a windmill slam. This one, Dream Stealer, 2 and a black for a 1/2 with menace, and when it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards. And it has Eternal Light, so it's a 4/4 with that same ability, so they'll discard 4 cards.
Yeah.
So either you throw some things in front of this, or say goodbye to your hand.
Yeah, this thing is brutal. I mean, a 3 mana 1/2 is pretty poor, but the menace is going to help you get through more often than not. And yeah, just keep hitting them, stripping their hand. You can't afford to even take one hit from this, I don't think.
As a 4/4 or as a 1/2?
As a 1/2, it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I mean, 4/4, you don't have a hand anymore. You're playing off the top deck immediately if you get hit by that.
Yeah, you kind of have no choice. Even if you've got bad blocks, you have to throw them in front. But for a 1/2, this is going to annoy a lot of players. I think unless you're getting run over by a red-white deck, this is just going to wreck your opponent.
Absolutely. I do not look forward to playing against this card because it's going to be so difficult to block and so good to put combat tricks on. If you have any kind of combat tricks, you want to have them with this guy because they are going to block it. So you want to have a way to make it get through.
Yeah, and if they don't block it, you pump it up and then they lose their hand.
Yep. So if you get Dream Stealer, combat tricks go to the top of your list, particularly combat tricks that buff power and toughness go to the top of the list very quickly.
Oh yeah, this card's going to be so brutal.
Can you imagine a cartouche of knowledge on this thing? +1/+1 flying menace.
Oh, that's just game.
It's just game
They
over.
this card too, yeah.
Yep. Alright, amazing card, yes. Windmill Slam, as we said. Super bomb.
Yeah, this card's insane. Yeah.
Alright, we have a Grizzly Survivor. This is a 2/3 for a 2/3. 2 mana, 1 black mana. And it's a Minotaur Warrior. It has a slight upside. If you cycle or discard a card, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So that's a nice little bonus. It's going to be hard to block, I imagine, for the same sort of threat of activation.
Yeah, I mean, it will still die if so they're playing like a 3/2. They put that in front. It's not, or maybe a 3/3. Sure, you'll get them, but I imagine they'll calculate that in.
Yeah, it's not an amazing card, but not a bad filler for your black common.
Yeah, I think it's just filler, and it's the upside's kind of nice, I guess.
And let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
Oh, sad Ronus.
Yeah, poor Ronus. Hour of Glory, 3 and a black for an instant. Exile target creature. If that creature was a god, its controller reveals his or her hand and exiles all cards from it with the same name as that creature. So
just good removal, I guess, straight off the bat. Exile a creature for 4 mana at instant speed. The rest of the text is pretty much irrelevant.
Well, for limited, yeah. I mean, I don't know if this will go into standard at all. Probably not. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, too expensive. Unless there's some gods that really start to take over. Maybe the Locust God starts doing stuff. We don't know, but I don't think we're going to need this in standard.
Yeah, I think you're right. But in limited, this is a great card, and I can't see myself picking much over it.
Yeah, bond removal. Well, first pickable premium removal. Take it.
Yeah, all the black res have been great so far.
Not all of them. The demon was a rare.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, okay. You got to even them out, I guess.
Yeah. Alright, we have a bear. Kenra Eternal is a 1 and a black for a zombie jackal warrior, and it has Afflict 1, which is a nice little upside for a bear. It means that 1/3s still take damage when they block. So, yeah. Fine, bear, aggressive card.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's just that Afflict 1 is going to make this card a lot better than just a grizzly bear, because it will just niggle at you and it will make your game horrible.
Yeah, I think you're going to be seeing a lot of this, because, I mean, this goes into basically any black deck. It goes in black-white zombies, it goes in black-red or black-blue aggressive decks. Yeah, it's just, if you're playing black, you should probably be playing this card.
Yeah, this is a perfect filler. It'll go in every black deck. It's a really good card.
Good stuff. Another excellent black card.
Yeah, Lethal Sting is 2 and a black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Lethal Sting, put a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control, and you get to destroy target creature.
Yeah. So it reminds me of Bone Splinters a little bit, where it doesn't quite kill your own creature, but it's doing a bit of damage, and then you just kill something.
Yeah, I quite like it a lot. You have to have a creature to be able to do this. So much like Bone Splinters, you have to have a creature on your side of the field. You have to be able to put a counter on it. And yeah, but otherwise, I mean, it's so much better than Bone Splinters because you get to keep your guy most of the time.
Yes, well, Bone Splinters was 1 mana.
Yeah,
that helps. That helps a bit, but the effect is certainly better than Bone Splinters. You touched on it there for a moment, but I'll just go on, put my judge hat on for a moment, and go a little bit deeper. You have to be able to put the counter on a creature you control. So that means if you have the Vizier, the white Vizier, the 2 mana 2/1, you're still allowed to do that. The Vizier then reduces it to 1, to no counters. So that works. The Solemnity, the white enchantment that says counters cannot be placed on creatures, that means you're not allowed to cast Lethal Sting, because you can't actually pay the cost. And as we mentioned, if you don't have a creature, you can't pay the cost. So this is a dead card if you have no creatures or can't put a counter on something.
Yep, but it's still a really good card.
Yes, absolutely. Very good removal. Not quite as good as a couple of the removal spells we've seen so far, but still excellent.
Yep.
Black's going to kill a lot of things, it looks.
Yeah, it looks like the removal's kind of good as long as you, as long as you got stuff around. That's unconditional, like, pretty much. Like, destroy a creature.
Yeah, we've seen that text destroy target creature a few times now, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Here's another one, almost.
Poor Liliana. Liliana's defeat is 1 black mana for a sorcery. Destroy target black creature or black planeswalker. If that permanent was a Liliana planeswalker, her controller loses 3 life.
Yes.
Again,
Good sideboard removal.
Yeah, excellent card coming out of the board. Otherwise, yeah, it's just staying in the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just if they have black creatures, bring it in, pretty much. I do like the way that they've worded this particular card. They talk about if that permanent was a Liliana Planeswalker, her controller loses 3 life. Whereas the normal kind of wording on that would be like that permanent's controller as opposed to her. So they've really tried to personalize, saying that actually Liliana is a person in our world. So
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
yeah, and it's just a little novelty. I think it's a bit unusual for them to word it that way, but I think it's really cool that they've gone that way.
Yeah, I assume we'll see more of that going forward.
Okay, Lurching Rod Beast.
Okay, 3 and a black for a 4/2 zombie beast, and it has cycling for a black. And if it didn't have cycling for a black, we just wouldn't play this card.
Yeah, this is pretty terrible stats, and to be honest, even with cycling, I don't think I want to play this card. Unless I'm getting bonuses for cycling.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's kind of... It's just going to trade with all the X2s, and you're not going to be that happy about it.
Yeah, I'm going to move on
Yep.
to the Marauding Bone Slasher. This is 2 and a black for a Zombie Minotaur 3/3. 3 mana 3/3, pretty good. It has a small downside in that it can't block unless you control another zombie, which should be fine. I mean, you will have plenty of other zombies around most of the time, and why do you want to block for? Just swing your 3/3 in.
Exactly, you're not blocking with this. Just get in there. Yeah, card's cool.
Excellent 3, and 3 mana 3/3 is just good stats, so...
Yeah, that's some creepy bloody art, though. Look at that. That's
Yeah,
kind
just-
of messed up.
Bones strapped onto him everywhere, that's a...
Yeah, yeah, that's weird. I don't know if they've been sort of like grafted together or if they're just sort of armor. Looks really weird.
Yeah, I don't think I want to delve too far into how that happened. Let's
Okay.
just move quietly away from it.
Yep. Merciless Eternal, 2 and a black for a 2/2 zombie cleric with a flick 2. And it has ability 2 and a black, discard a card. It gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Wow, this card's really good.
Yeah, this is a sweet beater. Just that threat of activation is going to always be there. This basically reads unblockable most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, unless you've got 5 toughness on the other side of the board, you probably just don't want to block this. Yeah, it just turns all your lands into pump, and they're going to take the 2 anyway.
Yeah, and I guess it's repeatable as well. So if you have 6 mana, you can bump that up twice. You got 2 cards if you really needed to. So Afflict is such an excellent ability. I'm really glad to be not on the receiving end of that. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't... I mean, it kind of blocks all right if you're willing to throw a card away. But, I mean, I've noticed a lot of the Afflict cards just don't really want to block. So if you're getting beat down and you're forced to play this, you might have to just trade it off or block with it, which won't be that great. So I can see this being a bit swingy, this card.
True. I mean, it's a 3 mana 2/2 at base level, so that's not brilliant. You do want to be able to get the abilities out of it.
Yeah. So I'm just... don't get me wrong, I think this card's excellent. I'm just saying with these Afflict cards, on the back side of it, when you're getting beaten down, they might not be as good.
Yeah. Alright. Moaning Wall.
Next. No.
More or less.
2 and a black for a 0/5 defender zombie wall, and it has cycling too. I don't see myself playing this outside of a cycling deck. It just matches up so badly in this format.
No, this is not good. I mean, if you need a zombie, like if you're in the zombie deck and you need a critical sort of mass of zombies, I could possibly see that coming in. But we've just talked about all these Afflict cards. They love this sort of thing because they just keep running into it and dealing their damage anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I can remember, all the zombie effects that affect zombies is when they attack, and this just, by definition, cannot attack. So, I don't know. I can't see this being good anywhere except the cycling deck, and only when you're desperate, I guess.
Or if you really want to freak out your opponent, because that is a wall of all the adults that Bolus killed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the flavor text there. Talks about how when Bolus came to the plane and sort of rebuilt it. He killed all the adults who knew what was going on, kept all the kids who didn't know.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah, this is pretty messed up stuff. So if you want to freak out your opponent, show them this card, and that'll distract them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's kind of cool flavor-wise, but yeah, I'm not happy about that.
No, don't want to play this card. Maybe you want to play this card.
Yeah, Razaketh, the foul-blooded, 5 black for an 8/8 legendary creature demon with flying and trample, and it's got another ability: pay 2 life and sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. So just sack a dude and tutor up whatever you want.
Yeah, this thing is huge.
Yeah, 8/8 flying trample is just massive.
I mean, this is what a mythic is supposed to be, right? It's expensive, it's massive, it's flashy. It's going to be real. It's going to end the game more or less if you resolve it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it should. You should just win within 2 turns of playing this card.
Yep.
I can't say much more. This card's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it is 8 mana, which is a lot of mana in limited, so...
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of decks that won't be able to play this, but I don't know. If I first pick this, I'll find a way.
Yeah, you build a deck around it. You don't go for the red-black aggressive deck if you first pick this one.
Yeah, you want green-black ramp.
Yeah. Now, there has also been a bit of discussion on like Commander forums and stuff like that, sort of saying the sky is falling and we need to ban this immediately because it's the second incarnation of Gristlebrand, and I just don't buy that argument. I do not believe this is going to get banned in Commander. It's not Gristlebrand. You can't just draw 20 cards off this straight away. You need to pay the life, which is not a big thing, but you do need to have a creature. And that's not a big hurdle, but it's big enough. That means you can't do this again and again and again without some kind of loop.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. You've got to have a board before you can go get your cards, and I don't know. I don't think that's broken or anything.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have some decks that can set up loops that this is going to allow me to combo harder and faster a little bit, but that deck already does that. This isn't giving me a tool that I didn't really have already.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be a bit of a buff in power level, and that's what you want from cards to come into Commander, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, so we next have Razaketh's Right. So this is him cutting himself up and turning the river to blood. 3 black for a sorcery. Diabolic Tutor, so search your library for a card, put it into your hand, shuffle your library, and you can cycle it for black. And this is bad in limited.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing this card.
In fact, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say this is bad in general. This is the worst version of Tutor that we have.
Well, it does cycle.
It cycles, yeah.
So it goes in the cycling deck, probably.
Yeah, you put it in the cycling deck because it cycles for a single black, which is fine.
It also finds your Drakehaven.
It can help you find Drakehaven, yeah. So it has a place, I imagine. Yeah,
like those. The problem with those cycling decks was sometimes you just didn't get your payoffs. So I guess this kind of goes in there. So maybe it's a little bit better specifically for this kind of set for finding that particular one thing.
Yep.
But even then, I'm really not happy playing a tutor like this. It's just too expensive.
Absolutely, yeah. I can definitely see your argument there, and I think in these specific cycling decks that are looking for a particular payoff, then yeah, you'd play this, not only because it has cycling, because it gets that payoff, but in any other deck, I just don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Like, just leave it alone.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be playing this card. It's just the amount of downside to it. It takes a turn off, it's a card that you're using. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. Alright. The Ruin Rat. This looks good.
Yeah, I like this little guy. 1 and a black for a 1/1 Death Toucher. Rat. And when it dies, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. I mean, that last sentence doesn't really matter all that much, but it's kind of cool little upside. 1/1 Death Toucher is good.
Certainly worth remembering. I mean, there is going to be Embalm, there's going to be Eternalize, there's going to be ways to get instants and sorceries back, so remember to use that ability when it comes up. But yeah, you don't need it to come up for it to be a good card.
Yeah, so just trade it with their god and then exile it out of the graveyard.
Exactly, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Ruin Rat is an excellent little card, you should put it in black decks.
Yes.
The Scrounger of Souls is a terrifying looking thing. It's a horror, 4 and a black for a 3/4 with lifelink, which is fine. 5 mana for a thing.
Yeah, it looks like something out of Pan's Labyrinth, that one. It's gross looking, but I'm actually a fan of this. I tend to like the lifelink creatures more than most. And 3/4 is usually a good enough body to be able to block whatever's happening on the board. And lifelink just means you can't really race this guy, so you've got to get it off the field. I actually think this is going to be a little bit better than it looks.
Okay, I'll have to wait and see if that works out from my perspective. I think it's fine. I don't think it's a bad card by any measure, but I don't know if I can get too much behind a 5 mana 3/4.
Fair enough, but watch out for it. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, always really good with combat tricks. Lifelink's always really a great skill, a great thing to have when you've got combat tricks to pump them up.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, I think with Afflict as well, you've got a lot of low-powered guys that are dealing in damage, and this sort of offsets that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's something. Yeah.
Alright, so we're going through our Torment cycle now. A little bit of trivia on the Torment cycle. This Torment was a mechanic originally. They actually had Torment as, would always do this thing. The controller chooses to either lose 3 life, sacrifice a non-land permanent, or discard a card. But they found in testing that because it was on so many cards, everyone just knew exactly what they were going to choose every time, so it didn't become a choice anymore. So they've just limited it to these 3 cards. The first one is a removal spell. 2 black for an instant. Put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature. And then you torment, so its controller can then either lose 3 life, sacrifice a permanent, or discard a card.
Yeah, this card's really good. Just if you took the last torment ability off it and just put 3 -1/-1 counters on a creature at instant speed, that's good enough for 4 mana. And just having the little tacked on bonus after that is just great.
Yeah, this is a good little removal spell. Better than Doomfall, I would say. I'm picking this up over Doomfall as far as removal would go.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
How about Lethal Sting? This versus Lethal Sting.
Oh, it's really close. I'm actually not sure at this point. I'll have to play it at pre-release. I think they're both really close.
Yeah.
I really like this card, just because you can do it in combat as well. Yeah.
Well, I think I'd have to have a bit of a look, but I'm probably leaning more towards Lethal Sting because it's unconditional. It's the only reason. The neg 1s are a little bit harder to maneuver sometimes.
Yep, no, that's fair enough.
Alright, our next Torment. Torment of Scarab. So this is 3 and a black for an aura that says at the beginning of the enchanted player's upkeep, you torment them. So they lose 3 life, sacrifice an land permanent, or discard a card. I really like this. I don't know if it's going to be good, and it goes in a slow deck, but I feel like if I could pick up 2 or 3 of these, it'd be really fun.
Yeah, it just adds up, doesn't it? It's sort of a do-nothing, or it is a do-nothing for the turn, but if you can make the game last another 6 or 7 turns, you're probably going to win that game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's the... Cruel Finality? Curse of Finality? Can't remember. It's the mythic from Amonkhet, which is Gideon seeing one of the the trials.
Yep. Yeah.
Has a similar effect in that you must sacrifice a creature, and if you don't, you lose some life. This, I think, being 3 or 4 mana cheaper, is going to be a really effective card at just really chipping away at your opponent, closing out.
Yeah. The choice isn't as brutal. Well, the other one didn't really give you a choice. You had to sacrifice a creature, but it's just the incremental card advantage over every single turn. They can't just keep taking life forever, and this is, I just think over a long game, this is going to be good. sideboard these out against your aggressive decks.
Yes, straight away. As soon as you're up against something aggressive, just get this out for anything that has power and toughness.
Yeah.
Alright, so, and now to our last torment. It's also our magnificent background, the Torment of Hailfire. I also think this might be the Game Day Champion playmat art.
Yeah, I believe it is as well. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome playmat.
So this is nice and simple, X black black, torment X times. So the opponent needs to choose X times to lose 3 life, sacrifice an land permanent, or discard a card. And of note, that says each opponent does that. So in Two-Headed Giant or Commander, every one of your opponents is doing that.
And that's so much better in 2HG as well, because they can't just use their life as a resource as anywhere near as much.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to get this into the late game and tormenting for 6 or 7.
Oh, that's going to be so brutal. Yeah, I don't know if I'm picking this card really highly. Yeah, there's one of those Punisher mechanics that I'm just not sure about.
No, sadly, I think the
really
rare in
hard.
this case is probably the worst. I don't like this card very much for your standard draft type games. This might see some play in standard as a bit of a finisher effect, but overall, I don't think this is a very good card outside of 2HG.
Yeah. I don't know, but if you do it for like 6, right? Oh, okay, just say you do it for 5. That's 7 mana.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most, like, the top end of where you're going to get it.
Yep.
That's just got to be backbreaking, right?
It will be. It'll be really big, but yeah, surviving to that time and 7 mana. If you're paying 7 mana for something, that's Hour of the Eternals. 7 mana is eternalizing 2 things. That's the gigantic aura curse thing. You know, this needs to be absolutely winning the game, and you probably will.
Yeah. So is it as good as that then?
Probably, I would say it's about as good as the curse, which is it's absolutely going to win the game if you can get there, and you have to build the deck to be able to get there.
All right. So that translates to me as I'm taking it and then I'm going to do it.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try and pick it up a little bit later. I don't really want to first pick this unless the pack isn't particularly good.
No, I'm going to channel my inner Bolas and go for it.
All right then. I look forward to seeing the opponent's face.
Sweet. Me too.
All right, Vile Manifestation. What is this thing gonna do for us?
1 and a black for a 0/4 horror, and it gets +1/+0 for each card with cycling in your graveyard, and it has cycling 2.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think this is going to be better than it looks. It's not a 0/4. This should be like a 2/4, or possibly even more than that, a 3/4 or a 4/4, and that's a really good card. I mean, we've kind of been bashing the whole low power, high toughness because of Afflict, but this one will quickly grow into something that can block it profitably.
Yeah, most of the Afflictors will die to 2 power, and a 2/4, and this is not too hard to do.
Yeah. And it has cycling itself, so it goes in the cycling deck, so I don't know, I kind of like it.
I think the cycling deck might have diversified a little bit. It used to be you need Drakehaven or Faith of the Devoted, and if you don't have that, the cycling deck cannot possibly work. But this is the second cheap creature we've seen that is buffed by cycling. Maybe it can be a little bit more of just a generic creatures deck.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, and this is going to come around late, certainly. This is not something you pick up early. This is you're in the cycling deck, so you want to then pick up these.
Yeah.
Or do you take this and become cycling? I don't know. Now,
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. I think I'm going to pick this up kind of early. I just got a feeling about this card.
Fair enough. I could see myself going into a draft, picking this up, second or third, maybe even fourth. Like it's come a little bit late, and you're saying, okay, cycling's probably open, and just go in hard from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with like these kind of cards is like they're like for example the 1/5 crab. It's always a 1/5 crab. Like when you draw in the late game, it's just a 1/5 crab. This could be like a 4/4 on like in the late game, and that's a good card.
Yeah, this could be a Tarmogoyf
Sure.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just scales in the late game when you've got enough cards supporting it. So I actually think this is going to be a good card.
Fair enough. All right, we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. And I agree. I think this could be a really, really powerful card for draft. So,
Yeah.
good luck to that one. And I mean, now that I think a little bit more, I might just take another second to think. Maybe there's the standard deck. There was a New Perspectives kind of combo cycling deck. Maybe this is your payload, if you can have a cycling deck.
Yeah, maybe. I've never played that deck. I think I saw it go off once, and I was kind of like, "Oh, that's cool," but I never really took much notice of it, to be honest. But maybe, yeah.
Right, I might have to have a bit of tinker around with that. I don't think it's going to be tier 1, but I reckon it could be a fun F&M deck. Go and
Awesome.
take into the standard night.
Yeah, sweet.
All right. Without weakness.
1 and a black for an instant. Target creature you control gains indestructible until the end of turn, and cycling 2. Now, I'm not a big fan of this card. I really want my tricks to give power and toughness, preferably at least power.
Yeah.
So this kind of is meh to me.
No, I like this if I have rats. Yeah, if I have quite a few of the ruin rats that have death touch and you just make them indestructible, then they can sit there. But supernatural stamina would be my combat trick of choice over this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's fine. If you need combat tricks, this is fine. But when we were talking about Dream Stealer before, this is not the kind of combat trick I was thinking about when I was talking about Dream Stealer.
Yeah. It cycles, I guess.
And it cycles, and you can't go past that too much.
Yeah, cycling deck.
All right, Camel Tribal. Let's make it happen.
Wretched Camel, 1 and a black for a 2/1 zombie camel. When it dies, if you control a desert or there's a desert in your graveyard, target player discards a card. So this is a fine dude. You'll play it in most of your black decks. You'll play it in a zombie deck. The card's fine.
Yeah, I think you play this if you don't have enough Kenra Eternals. If you need a couple of extra bears.
Yeah, and if you've got a desert, that's a 2-for-1, so you'll take it.
Yeah, not bad. And that's it. I thought we had a Vizier, but we don't. That's the end of the black cards. I am so psyched about black. I think there was almost all of those cards are playable.
Yeah, I think everything's really good for black, and yeah, even I'm excited to play some black, so you know it's good then.
All right, if I've got Anthony on board, then black's going to be sweet. So, looking forward to that one, and looking forward to seeing you guys again when we go over all of the red cards next. Going to join us in for there?
Yep, let's do it. Red cards.
All right. Well, we'll see you over in our next review.
All right, see you guys.